the introduction of this program, I'm going to play the PowerPoint that Sanjeev ji has sent, and we can go from there. So you can all see the PowerPoint over here. So this is a presentation by Guruji Sanjeev Krishna, who is the founder of Sanjeev Krishna Yoga. I'm getting a feedback, so I'm going to mute you till I finish. Okay. So the Sanjeev Krishna Yoga is part of the Council for Yoga Accreditation International, and as part of the monthly event which is being planned, this is the first event on Kalarippayattu. The Council for Yoga Accreditation International is a global forum that recognizes the broad application of yoga philosophy and approaches in many fields, and is modeled as a knowledge integrator for global advancement. It is not only about maintenance of accreditation standards, but maintaining purity of yoga with integrative understanding that opens it for other types of for practices that are from outside India to be also included. Health application of yoga with spiritual understanding, scientific research of yogic process, and finding unity in diversity with yoga. In other words, yoga is the spiritual base of every religion. So to make yoga as the catalyst for finding unity and global peace between religious groups. So as part of this, here is Guruji Sanjeev Krishna. So he is a yoga Acharya and founder of Sanjeev Krishna Yoga, and affectionately he is addressed by all as Guruji. He has been in this knowledge of yogic wisdom from childhood, with a backing of nearly 4 decades of yoga in the field of yogic science as a student, trainer, and as a practitioner in this unique knowledge. He finally decided to pursue this passion, which had been his true companion in all facets of his life. With the grace of all the great masters and well-wishers, he finally was able to set up his first center in Dubai in 2003. He was awarded by the Department of Health and Medical Services in Dubai during 2004 for the awareness campaign conducted by the government for the contribution to world health through yoga. Now, there are 2 videos that will be there as part of the initial presentation, but the most important and most useful thing that you will find is the question answer session. So think of all the questions you have, and I will request that all of you post your question in the question answer or chat box. That way we can take up the questions and we will address it one at a time. So here is the first video that gives you a little bit overview of who he is and where they are.
cannot hear. Cannot hear anything.
So go ahead, Sanjeev ji, you can unmute yourself.
The volume is not clear, Ji.
Sanjeev Krishna, you need to unmute yourself.
I am,
Yes.
but the video, I think from your side, you have to do.
Yes, that's fine. You carry on.
Okay. So before we start, we'll say a small prayer, silent prayer for the well-being of everyone. Just close your eyes for a moment. Make your body still and feel the stillness of your body. A universal prayer for all the peace and happiness for the whole world. Sitting straight, bring your awareness to the eyebrow center. Inhale. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Let all be happy, all be healthy. Let goodness and auspiciousness pervade all over the world. Let none suffer. Together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Rub your palms. Pass your hands all over your body. Yeah. I'll start, Rajanji.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. The center called Sanjeev Krishna Yoga, we started in Dubai, in the Middle East, and is the ISO certified center in the Middle East, one of the certified center. Established in 2003 in the name of Rhythm Yoga. We conduct seminars in various public platforms and educational institutions. Associated with many schools and universities, including American University in Dubai, for imbibing this knowledge for the children and teenagers. We have conducted corporate programs for the government bodies like KHDA, Knowledge and Human Development Authority, Government of Dubai, and Federal Authority of Nuclear Regulations, Abu Dhabi. The next, Kalari, for example, we always see is a beautiful knowledge, and we say there is no greater warrior than a mother protecting her child. And this art of self-defense evolved from nature is Kalarippayattu. Kala means the art. Payattu is the defense techniques that is adopted by animals, birds, reptiles to save their little ones. So this has been imbibed in human lives also for self-protection. The next. If you observe in nature, as I said earlier, a mother is the greatest warrior when it comes to the protection of a child, be it in humans or animals. Likewise, when endangered, this art of self-defense becomes a protective mechanism to protect oneself and the dear ones from danger. Since humans mostly live in comfort zones, the muscle memories are not activated like that in animals who does it instinctively. Kalari can help to master these techniques of self-defense in all challenging situations. When I started learning this, it fascinated me so much. Along with yoga, it was an awesome experience. And this made me realize how important it is in the life of all as a wisdom to gain, irrespective of any age. Now, before we start practicing, there is something called Putara, a place that we keep when we practice. It is on the southwest place that we place it. And this place we bow down in a meditative prayer. This symbolifies the chakras of a human body. And in this place we bow down to all the great masters for taking their blessings. The origin of the practice starts only after giving due respects to all the great masters and meditation within ourselves, especially on all the energy points of our human system for manifesting our inherent powers and potential from within. Next. The history, if you go, is this is one of the oldest living traditions of self-defense techniques, evolved from nature, adopted from birds, animals, reptiles, etc., and having its roots in Dhanurveda, the ancient Indian science of self-protective mechanism and self-disciplining through progressive learning. In fact, the great masters, one is Lord Parshurama and the Saptarishi, Agastya, are regarded as the founders of Kalarippayattu and the oldest self-defense techniques mastered from nature itself. Now, how this knowledge transcended from the south of India to China and to the world is very interesting. In fact, we had Bodhidharma, who was a South Indian prince, a great physician of Ayurveda, medicine, and a master in Kalarippayattu, and he was a great yogi. He had traveled to spread the knowledge to the north of India, landed in Tibet, and crossed over to China and spread this ancient knowledge of Ayurveda and self-defense training. He treated the villagers when they fell sick by unknown diseases and saved them also from the tribals who attacks. So once they came to know his ability, they wanted him to teach them this wisdom. He trained them in this medicine, Ayurvedic medicines, and self-defense training was imbibed to them. He was laid to rest in China, and this became the Shaolin Temple. His knowledge and wisdom was adopted and adapted and came to be known as the Shaolin Kung Fu. He is the founder of Zen Buddhism, or Zen Buddhism as we say. And from here, this knowledge of self-defense has spread across to different countries in the world, added with tradition, customized with the relevant names and forms in very many facets. We call it Tai Chi, Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, and so many of them, because the base was animals, birds, which really taught us these techniques. And since we had ample of that from them, it was of great support for the whole world to benefit from such knowledge, ancient as we can say. Kalarippayattu defines or derives from Kala, meaning an art, and Payattu means the art to defend oneself. This is originated, as I mentioned, from the world of nature. Hence, nature is our teacher, and great masters in India knew that nature is a beautiful laboratory for studying the universe, and man is the best specimen of all. Hence, from ages, by keen observance, developed this art form to activate the muscle memories of humans, inherent and lying dormant, so it can defend themselves in any endangered situations. According to me, I always have felt and always convey that Kalari should be an addendum to follow as a practice of ahimsa, of Ashtanga Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga Sutras of Maharishi Patanjali, ahimsa is the first principle of Yama. We all know non-injury to anyone in words, action, thoughts, and deed is emphasized so that by hurting others, it hurts oneself in the universal application of consciousness. But when some, out of ignorance, physically come to attack, it is very essential to protect our body from endangering our life and be extinct to practice anything. Hence, learning and mastering this physical protection is more a necessity for adhering to ahimsa on a practical level. Hence, this art of self-defense is more a prerequisite for following such principles in our life than an option. The importance of Kalari in personality development. This I have been able to observe in children. Many of the parents, they come and say, my child cannot be controlled. He has this issue, that issue, so many things, he's not listening. So once we started these sessions with them, we have seen beautiful improvement in their personality development. And some children, for example, they get bullied in school, in classes, and they're always very timid. But once they join such practices, we have seen they develop their self-confidence, their courage and fearlessness, and people no more, or the children around him do not come close to him. This is an ideal requirement for children and for all to master this art form from childhood. So their energies are well utilized, well diverted for learning, mastering, to defend and protect themselves in any situations. This makes the individual more confident, courageous, fearless, with good bodily strength, endurance, and well-disciplined and principled to help them to attain all the fullnesses and blossom themselves into better personalities. Coming back to Kalari as a knowledge and wisdom, it's very important to note we human beings have so much of nadis and meridian points which are susceptible to danger if you do not know how to protect. And Kalarippayattu is a boon to humanity when applied sensibly can transform our new generation into a long-living, efficient human beings by strengthening the 10 nadis in the body. Marma, we call it, or vital points, are in human body along the nadis and joints. The art of Kalari teaches us to prevent any shock at such vital points. It also enables us to deliver deadly attack on the Marma points of our opponent, majorly for self-defense. Kalari explains 108 such vital points on our body and various methods of knocking and massaging on such points to relieve this bad effect caused by any attack. Kalari treatment can awaken nadis and bless us with a healthy body, happy mind, and youthfulness. And this is why it's also imbibed in many practices if you observe. Once we learn the art of these meridian points and nadis, it's very effective in treatments. For example, people who have such ailments, who have weaknesses in the nadis, it can be at any time, even challenged children. Certain activities of the marmas which we activate, it can help them a lot. So that's why the knowledge about nadis and meridian points play a very major role in the knowledge of Kalarippayattu itself. The next, these are some of these postures, movements, defense techniques that in the center we have captured and which really helps a trainer to master these abilities to protect themselves during any type of conflicts which can be available at times which we need to learn. These are certain locks which we adopt, and these locks are very efficient for even girls and boys to learn to defend themselves. You know, one thing about Kalari is we do not want to give pain to anyone in the world. It's true, because we don't want to feel hurt after some time. But when an event of attack or anything happens, we always request and ask them, please, sorry, whatever it is there, please allow us, we can discuss about it. But if the other person is very adamant that he wants to really hurt you, there you say, the only thing I have to do is I have to defend. They do not realize you are a very powerful defender. And once you start operating, one person we can manage, defend ourselves, 2 or 3 comes, we have to naturally subdue them by hitting at certain points. So they lie down for half an hour, 1 hour, then you can run away from the scene. So we don't want to hurt others, but save ourselves from the situation. That's the beauty of this knowledge. Next slide. I always felt this I wanted to see if we can introduce, like all other trainings, I would like to see that introduction of belt in the evolution of Kalari practices. We had the occasion of imbibing to schools where I have developed a sequence of programs staging from 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and according to the evolution, I always felt we need to introduce belt also in such practices, which I think something that we can discuss over a period of time and see how well this can be implemented also. That's why I just wanted to mention about it. Apart from the practice of physical training and strengthening, there are 4 types of major training that we do. Is Maithari, physical methods of fighting. Then with wooden weapons, there are so many wooden weapons we use. The first is we use the small stick, then we use the little bent one, which is very much used for hitting the marmas during fights. Likewise, there are certain instruments which are taken and trained so that any type of attack can be taken care. Angatari is using the iron steel weapons. Verumkai means even armed combat by blocks, locks, all these things are a part of the training which is done in Kalvi. Now, why learning the art of self-defense is a necessity and not an option is always felt to understand. Life is all about living. Hence, the art of life to defend is not an option, but a necessity for every living human being in this world. This is a gift from nature as instinct to protect for all creatures in the animal kingdom. They do it instinctively. And to the intelligent man, to master this art form, we have to learn or to maintain our life, retain and sustain this life at any eventuality. This is valuable knowledge to safeguard oneself and the dear ones at all times.
I think we have a video coming.
My triad, it was actually really nice to see because it was two people who are professional just working through the sequence together. And it's so great that they can actually memorize all of that, though they did say that it becomes muscle memory, which is awesome and amazing. And if you can stick to this kind of intense training on a daily basis for years at a time and become that fluid and that strong in your movements, I think that this sport or this martial art is perfect for you.
You know, this Kalari is something which I feel is very essential to be taught to children. Today, if you see many of the aspects of life, children need to understand this knowledge. Girls and boys all can learn this knowledge. And this, if we initiate it in school especially, it will bring a great deal of discipline and it can help to mold characters and personalities. And all these inhibitions can be eliminated. So Kalari is a intricate blend of physical powers, mindset, martial techniques, and indigenous techniques and healthcare system. This form of armed close quarter hand-to-hand combat encounter techniques is exemplary. And that's why if we can imbibe this to our children, it can help a lot in molding their characters and being a great asset to the society and to everyone in the world. This unique mastery of this knowledge makes each cell of the body become an eye, you know. For example, when sometimes we put our hand in our bag and without even seeing, you are able to take out the correct key that you want. How? Because your fingers are able to understand by the memory. Imagine all the muscles of our body are tuned with such muscle memory techniques. Naturally, each and every part of the body become like an eye. That's what we say, your body becomes like eyes. Alertness, awareness becomes the highest quality in defense. And each part of the body becomes an eye to safeguard in any dynamic situations that is normally human beings can never think of. So this art of self-defense is a necessity for every child, and even elders can learn. It can even help them to overcome the health issues to a great extent. And the treatment of the Nadis can eliminate plenty of aches, pains, and there are so many of them who undergo 21 days Marma treatments. And also during treatments, we do it with the legs also, because this helps us to nicely give the massage to the entire body with force and certain pressures. So that's why even massage through the legs is very effective. And this for 21 days, 7 days, we do it as a training. So once in a year, if you do this treatment, the person's nadis will be held throughout, will be healthy. So there are various aspects to this knowledge, and which I feel we all need to understand, disseminate this knowledge to children, initiate it in schools and institutions to develop, or rather bring out the best in our children for tomorrow. So this is what it is basically. Now, if you have any things to discuss or interact, we can ask. One more thing before we do it, I would like to say the traditional form of training, we use Kalari as 21 by 42 size fit, 5 to 6 feet down, so that even when training, the air friction will not disturb us. So your body movements are so fast and dynamic, it increases the speed of movements. And this training is very, very important, I feel. So I think now we have time for interactions.
Yeah, any questions? So people are welcome to ask any questions.
Dr. Narayan, this is Sundar.
Yes.
I posted them. Is that for a right way to chat, or should I ask them in the?
A good idea. I see there are questions here. Why don't okay. Kalari to awaken the nadis, can you explain a bit more? Also, is there any age restriction for learning this art? That is what Sundar has put in, right?
Yes, yes, doctor.
Yeah, Sundar, go ahead and you can, once he answers, if you have any follow-up question on that, you can speak up.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
So I'll just repeat the question, Sanjeev, Guruji.
Yeah.
Mainly, I saw that statement about awakening the nadis is one of the things that this art is doing. Can you explain a little bit more? What does that mean, practicing? Because we also learn in our yoga to do using mantras and all. So just is it like another faculty to do that, or is there anything unique you want to call out?
It's just like a part of the same system, but how effective it is because you're stretching your muscles, activating the nadis by your movements. It's not like externally we do by any other thing. By the movements, automatically within the body system. See, many of the sicknesses happen when we have problems in the nadis, blockages in the nadis. And over a period of time, this can form diseases. So Kalari, I've seen many people who come with severe issues, but just 3 to 6 sessions, they do practice itself. They didn't even think about their health, but the diseases vanish because the blood circulation improves, the blockages in the nadis open up. So it helps them in the practice itself. Apart from that, if there's specific blockages which we feel or certain aches and pains in the body, the experts can really tune those nadis and clear the circulation blockages, which can help them to get back to good health.
Thank you. The follow-up question is on the restriction. Are there any age restrictions? Like I'm 50 right now. Curious to see what is there anything to, how does it?
Kalari, we say from the age of 7, children can start learning. And there's no age restrictions. You can always learn. Because like yoga itself, initially we start very slowly, see your ability, see your capacity, how flexible you are. And gradually with your consistency, dedication and practices, you can surely do well. Age is not a major. Even 74-year-old trainers still are active in practicing Kalari in Kerala also. So we have so much of them who can do it. Age is not a basic problem at all.
Thank you.
There is a question over there that asks, what does Nadi mean and where are the 10 Nadis in our body?
Nadis are perceived as energy channels of the body, and Marmas are sensitive spots located on those channels, which allow us to tap into and influence the energy streams. Modern science has failed to discover any energy channel in the human body, and as a result of this, the existence is denied by certain factors. But nadis, once we really activate them, it helps them to open up and the circulation can improve. So nadis are the various, for the 108 major nadis, we all know that. So wherever there is blockages, this can be eliminated.
So the 10 Nadis, where they are, you don't want to talk about?
The 10 nadis, the major nadis, see, every part of the body we have nadis. The issue is the major nadis is on the body parts. From the forehead onwards, we have 10 major nadis. On the Vishuddhi chakra, we have the lower part of the bodies we have. So specifically, if you say the 10 channels, major important channels, makes the 108 channels also. So the basic, we get it from the 2 major channels, that is Ida Pingala is the major channel that we have. Plus the joints of these junctions, which is 10 major junctions we have from all the 72,000 energy channels are spread. If you also see the Ida Pingala Sushumna and these nadis is what adds on to the other nadis.
Okay. So the next question somebody asks is, Ashok Thareja, please explain how you use Marma points in self-defense.
Marma points in self-defense. For example, whenever we are attacking or we have an issue, what happens is for example, a person holds your hand. There are certain points in the hand, even very smoothly we can press that Marma points and tell him, please leave me. He automatically leaves you. He cannot hold on. If a person is holding you tight and is not leaving your hand, just you have to press a point in the hand and immediately the person automatically leaves your grip, leaves the grip of you. Likewise, if you know the points, just touching those points itself helps them. He becomes weak, the grip becomes weak and he takes away the hand. So once you learn these techniques, especially when you master them, just holding that point and just pressing it, it weakens the grip of the person.
Okay. So do you want to demonstrate that? Your video is off.
Which one? Yes, you can if you want.
Yeah, your video is off, so you can turn it on and you can demonstrate.
The host has stopped it. I think from your side, it has to on.
Oh, okay. I will make you co-host, so that way you can turn it. So you can turn it on? Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, for example, someone holds a grip here, it holds you and is not leaving you. You can just press at this point and immediately he becomes weak in his grip. He will leave. Or if it is holding like this, you just hold one point. This is again another point. Just press here and say, please leave me. You just press here, immediately he will leave you. Because he has no option, but this Nadi becomes immediately weak. His grip goes off. So these are all points in the body that can immediately lose or weaken the person. So you're not even doing anything. The moment he holds you tight, the thing is we just say, please leave me, you have to go. You press here, he doesn't even know that he's pressing your Marma point. The moment you press here, he loses the grip and you can just go. Like that, different parts of the body, it's very important to know.
So there are two questions from two people. Is there anybody teaching this in USA, and how can we learn more from books or in US, or how?
We can even, nowadays Zoom has been very good. We are teaching here. I can also check with someone of the practice. One video which I have shown is a very good person in India. His son is with me. So that's how we have been able to think. We can check up with if many practitioners are there in USA, in which part, we can check and come back to you on that.
And
And also from Zoom, I'll tell you, there are some children who are still in US where we do Zoom classes for them from Dubai. So that's also possible.
Another question over here is, how much does it cost for the 21-day treatment in India?
It depends on, there are various things, how many days they want. There are different treatments that we do that we say this treatment, it's like Kiri, Piri, then we say so many different modes of treatments are there. It depends on the person, what is his health condition, what is his requirement. So we adopt those treatment according to the individual requirement. But 21 days is because every cell changes. And in 21 days, the entire cell changes. So when we adopt a certain procedure, when the person is sick, pertaining to a certain health issue, we have a treatment to enable him to open up the blockages and induce certain treatments specifically for him. And these 21 days, he can see the results. It's based on, because the system is 21 days, entire cells of our changes. So once we attune him to those treatment, it opens up all the imbalances or blockages within the system. It's
So
person to person treatments.
The question was, what does it cost?
Cost, this I can come back because those are specific on that we can check and come back.
So that was Kumar.
They need to tell us what is the requirement, what is the health issue. So accordingly, we can give them the details.
Okay. So next is, we have a question. Have you had any experience teaching Kalari to old people or stroke patients?
See, stroke patients and old people, what we have to do is, we have to give them training on Marma treatment. Marma treatment added with certain yoga things we add on, and it's helped them to strengthen the Nadis back to health. That's what we have done. We have done some treatments back in India they have been doing. So here we actually initiate them by pressing on certain points and helping them to overcome their blockages. Added with certain postures and breathing techniques, we can help them.
Okay. So now Selvan Senthamal is asking, certain vital points are not revealed so that people do harm others or do not harm others. How is this maintained?
The main thing is, see, these vital points are not fully given because it depends on the character to whom we imbibe the knowledge.
Yes.
It should be used for beneficial, not for hurting others. So if a person whose character is not good, now this treatment, these vital points are fully not given to them because it can harm others. So it should be very, very careful when we imbibe such knowledge because it's a very subtle knowledge. And this should be used only for beneficial, not for hurting others. So depending upon the character of the person, the personality of the person only, training is given, or rather the knowledge is imbibed to them.
Okay. Now, there are a few other questions over here about things being in the US, but one other thing that came across over here was how is it related to acupuncture, acupressure points? Is there a breathing rhythm with certain postures?
There is certain postures, breathing. See, breathing in this is very, very vital in Kalari. Even every posture, we have certain breathing techniques because it can energize us. So naturally, whether it is acupuncture or acupressure, it's all pertaining to Marma knowledge only. So here, when we do certain stretches, automatically this breathing plays a very major role on activating those Marma points or meridian points. So certain postures we do and we tell them to do these types of breathing, which can help them to elevate the blockages or release them very fast.
Now, the other question was, is this related to acupuncture and acupressure points?
Naturally, because acupuncture and acupressure points is a part of the same system. But here what happens is we are giving them with the hands we use it more pressure, acupressure only we adopt certain things. But certain things we need to unlock them, So it's not just pressurizing them, we need to release them. For example, certain lying down postures, when there is any blockages, we pull them. It's not just pressing only. Right leg and left, we just pull them. So any blockages in the spinal column, it is cleared. So vice versa. So certain techniques we use to unlock the blockages, not just acupuncture and acupressure. This unlocking also is done in Kalari treatments.
Okay. There is another question is, Sunil Joshi of Gurukul Kangri University once said at a conference in Poland that one of the reasons Jesus left the body too quickly when he was crucified is that the nails penetrated the Talhridaya Marma point. Is that true? The Talhridaya point is the one where if you...
hands.
Yes, where the middle finger comes in, that point.
Of course, these points are a vital energy where energy stays, Naturally, once you hammer them, the nadis get destroyed. The body can lose its life very fast. It can be true.
Okay. Now, the number of questions about wanting this in the US. So one person says, Taekwondo and other martial arts are so popular worldwide. Are there initiatives to popularize Kalarippayattu in the US? in the US?
That's what we are, CYLB bring it up, I'm sure, with the
Okay.
initiative that we do. We
Yeah.
will be having so many centers registering, and I'm sure we'll be able to take it up in a very big way to the world.
So another question is, in this age of guns, how do we use this Kalari knowledge?
Kalari knowledge is not only physical, even using the power of your mind, we can subdue people. So learning, that's why yogic knowledge is a part of the system. Once you master it, even just we call it as tuned marma. Looking at a person, you can change his mental attitudes and shift him. So you can use him also to hit his own friends if they learn this art. Another thing is we say guns exactly, but the thing is you're so aware and alert that your awareness and alertness can help you, first of all, not to face a gun. At the same time, also learn to protect yourself, not to get into such situations. That's one point. Second is, you can use the mind to shift of the other person also. So it is not just physical, it is also mental and metaphysical knowledge and powers that you gain out of these intense practices. You know. The 10 major nadis, I think we were always thinking there are certain nadis which is important to be noted. It's called the Pingala, Sushumna, Ida, Alampura, Ati, Hastajiva, Shanghai, Shinguve, and Gandhari, and Kuhunadi. These are the 10 major nadis which is always actively done.
Yes.
So, from this actually comes from the 3 major nadis, I think all of us know, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna.
So the next question that is over here is, the 21-day program, is it available in UAE, is the question that is asked.
In UAE, there are certain places that they are doing, but Kalari I have to check and see, because here we have to have a special license and all for this.
21-day.
So everything, yeah. But there are certain places they are doing the treatment, but how far it is genuinely done, I don't know. We have to check and see. We are not able to do it here at the moment.
So another question is, has Kalari continued to evolve and become quite different from the Chinese and Japanese disciplines that came out of Kalari? Is there a distinction? Have they evolved?
Kalari, if you observe, still maintains its originality in various ways. So still those techniques are going on. At the same time, evolution is also happening in many, because nowadays it's also gaining popularity. And there are 2 major systems. We call it as northern and southern system of Kalari, and the mid Kerala system is also there. So together they evolve, they combine, but the basics are not lost. Still maintaining the basics, it is evolving in different forms also. Yes.
So somebody else is asking, what is the minimum coursework I need to do to become a teacher in USA? Vivek Jalahalli has asked a question.
We would like to ask him how many days can he devote every day?
Yes. It is a competency rather than, number of hours.
Exactly. Competency, dedication, consistency.
Yes.
That can develop it, and the speed of learning to be a teacher. This is what it takes to.
Now, I know many people have asked questions. If I have not done justice to anyone, please feel free to speak up. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Anybody?
I think this is Subramanian Kumar. I think people are a little shy, so let me start. I wish our Jawans were taught this Kalari principle, in which case we may not have lost 20 soldiers in that recent fight with the Chinese, with their rods and metal rods.
Yeah, you're right.
I hope the Indian government, the Defense Department takes this in a big way.
It is very, very essential, I feel. That's why I say this training should be imbibed from childhood. First of all, we develop personalities. They become a great asset to themselves and to the society. and to the nation as well. And the beauty is they don't want to hurt. At the same time, they're very powerful defenders. So this has to be taught and it has to be promoted. That's why I feel this knowledge is not something to be just kept in a place. It has to grow. It has to grow worldwide. The world should know that there exists such a beautiful knowledge which can help one another and support one another, you know. And this, even in Kalari, the Nadis, apart from the Nadis, there are the chakras very deeply explained, how these energy points can help. Many things in the training which is imbibed, which can help also. You know, one instance I had is one of my very close person who was my great grand uncle, we can say. He was a great exponent of Kalari. He used to just have just a small cloth and a small stick, just stick in his waist. Just a waistly he used to go. Very great exponent of Kalari. This gentleman once was going and some people attacked him because he just had a little wash in that pond which said you are not supposed to use. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't know it because of the heat. I had to just wash my legs and hands. But since they were very adamant to hit him, so 15 of them attacked. Each of them he put a certain lock and just put them there and he walked off. They couldn't move. So he went home and after some time people came to know, ran back to him and said, please sir, please come, we are sorry what we did. So he had to go back and do the Maruthattu we say. Hit on the opposite side and he opens up. So it is very useful, not only on a defensive things, but also to protect oneself in very many ways. So I feel this knowledge has to go beyond what we think. It should really help people to understand, learn, master.
Thank you, sir. It was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Ganesh. I have a quick question about the time commitment on a daily basis one needs to have to learn Kalarippayattu as a beginner.
As a beginner, at least you can start with 1 hour training and gradually, we don't have to tell you, you will intensify your time and you will find time to train because you get so much involved and so much seeing how the changes happen in your body, it automatically start working within you. So 1 hour initially, at least you take, gradually you may be taking little more than an hour, 1.5 hours, but you need time. You'll start enjoying every moment of your training with yourself. So it's something which I've experienced. I can never say about it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Takes you to a state of meditation with your body.
Thank you very much. So hopefully, is it possible to learn it? I mean, it's possible to learn it online, I presume, right?
You can learn it online. We are even providing online sessions now. Many of the students who came to Dubai, they went back to US. They are still undergoing classes and training, which we are doing over Zoom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, sir. This is Suma. I would like to see, I have just one question. I want to see what are the other requirements that we need to have to start taking these classes from the US?
We can just, if you want to do virtual things, you can just register. We have our own ways and things we'll inform. You just need to give us a registration form fill where you mention the health conditions and details. Accordingly, we can start the Zoom sessions. So that can initially give you the training, well guided, and with other trainings, videos and things, so that you can start your training. You need not be physically there also, because you'll be thoroughly guided. So we can do those such trainings. We are able to do such. We have been doing also at the moment.
Sanjeev, I just wanted to chime in. Maybe one of these weeks, again, maybe after a couple of weeks, we should also have a session where there is more of actual training for people as a build-up to today's seminar.
Yeah, a sample class.
Yeah.
Pardon?
No, the Suma was saying a sample class. But anyway.
Sample class, okay.
Now,
but sample class, we can just show movements, you know. We can show movements. How much can we show in that movements? We can show just what are the movements that we do.
should you have? And then do you need the stick or some, you know, the supplies to
No,
begin with?
initially, we don't require such things. Initially, we need to strengthen our body by balancing, learning the art of balancing and strengthening the legs, increasing the mobility and flexibility. This makes it more dominant for having a basic foundation to the practice. Then sticks we can learn easily, it's not a big deal. But once you learn that, there's something called the spine of Kalari. The spine of Kalari is called Meipayattu. Meipayattu, once you master, then rest follows beautifully. So the foundation is laid. So initially you can start with the training. Gradually, over a period of time, even those can be taught very easily. Because once you have mastered the basic foundation, then rest follows very easily.
I will request those who are asking questions to also turn on your video. It will be helpful to see who you are. And the other thing is, people should think a little bit about people who have learned Bharatanatyam and things, how many years they learn. So you can think in terms of how much dedication that is involved. That is probably the same level of dedication needed for Kalari, right?
Yes.
Rightly said, yeah.
Rightly said, yeah.
Naranji, this is Srijit. Looks like we don't have option to turn on the video for some reason. I think that's the reason no one turned on the video. No one is having the option.
Well,
The host has stopped it.
how do you turn it on?
Host has to do it.
I think it should be some
Just
setting
did.
under the participants. If you select the...
I just selected it. I just selected it. Now people can turn on their videos.
Oh, okay.
Well, say you have all the dedication and the time, how long does it take, for the completion of the 4 stages or the sections that you were talking about?
The 4 stages may take some time, but the initial 2 stages itself, we can do it. It depends on how fast you practice it. At least in 3 months, you'll be able to learn a major chunk of it if you're really dedicated. 6 months, you can master them a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Namaste.
one quick question.
Namaste, Vivek Jaladi here. Just wanted to ask in the sense, in Bharat, Kalarippayattu is some of the organization like RSS has incorporated into their daily activities. I heard like that. So I wanted to get a guidance so that I am part of HSS here in US so that we can also think about it.
See, since it's a defensive program, it's more a defensive art, we can say. It's for the self-defense techniques. So if you see, all these organizations are basically to protect only. So it's not to attack or anyone. So learning the art is always useful, and it can be helped to see that you learn the knowledge. Just we can work on it. No issue. Because it's more a training. So Kala, it's an art. It's not just see. Why it has become a fighting module is because once this was initiated, gradually over a period of time, the principal states or small countries in the country itself, the princely states started using it as fighting amongst themselves. That is how it has become a fighting module. Otherwise, it was a self-defense techniques only. So even now, since there's no princely state to fight or do anything, it's more on a defensive training that has been imbibed at the moment. So those trainings can always be, that's why I wanted this to go to schools, colleges, universities, to develop personalities of children. We don't want to give pain to anyone. At the same time, you're very strong, courageous, confident, principled, disciplined. Naturally, the best of a person or a child blossoms.
Oh, Sanjeev ji, it's a great presentation. Is it similar to, I think it's similar to Varma Kalai in Tamil practices, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because Agastya Muni, Agastya Muni and Parashurama are the great exponent of this knowledge. Especially Varamati also has come from Agastya, that side. So it's all basically the same principles.
Yeah, it's a
Of course, it's the same principle. And South India has nurtured this a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Still the trainings are going on all over the place.
Ganesh Kalyan Ram wants to say something. Go ahead.
So one quick question. So is there like a space? How much space do you really need when you practice this? You mentioned quite a huge amount of space.
See, the spaces, if you're having a training ground, we need 21 by 42, the size of the pit that we have. In Dubai, we had done that. So this is the size of the pit normally. But you can even work out in a hall, in a room where you have 600 square feet, it's more than enough. As an individual, you can use it, it's fine. Because we need the movements, you need to go to the different movements and things and space for the stick and everything. So we need quite a little space for those movements. Otherwise, still you can use it. And even you can use it in the open grounds also.
Hello, this is Maitreyi. Hello?
Yes, yes.
I've practiced other martial arts like Aikido, and they're very interactive martial arts. So does this start out by being practicing on one's own? And at what point will you need a partner?
You can start with see, this also it's interactive. It's not that we are solo. We interact and teach one another, especially when you teach defensive postures. We need support system.
Yeah.
So it's all there, a part of the same thing. So you can have partners to learn the attacks and defense techniques, and also blocks. We train. So we need people. So, but why we individually make you train is because to improve your efficiency. How efficient you are comes on your solo training. Then you can use others also in the learning the art of how to support one another. For example, when you are doing a fight, who we do is we are the people who know each other. So each are competent. Then we know how to work on them.
That's yes. Like Aikido, I've done the same thing. Same. So when if we do like Zoom classes, initially it might be individual, but at some point we have to get together.
See, initially when you Zoom, first we train in balancing, improving your flexibility, learning the techniques. Then of course, you can use someone in your place also who can support you and who can be supporting you. It can be done.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Avinash and I'm from the US and I train in fencing, like Western style fencing. And one thing that I've found out is that it's a lot about precision, but in such a high speed scenario of combat, how do you make sure that you can hit these Nadi points? Because like I find it hard to even like hit like general parts of the body that I try to aim for without missing at such a high point speed.
You know, when these point training, Marma points are done, what happens is we train them in such a way that their points, even by looking at those points, you identify them very precisely. So in a fast movement, your eyes and your body movements and your muscle movement becomes very precise. So hitting anywhere at that point immediately goes to the right spot. So you will get to it because your mind power is also implied. It's not just the physical. Your mind power is also implied where speed, precision with the mind and the body movements immediately gets you to the right point. It's a fast. The speed is very, very important here.
Hello, Sanjeev ji. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you have any kind of sutras or books, like the theoretical part of Kalarippayattu, the precepts on which it is based on?
Kalarippayattu, there are books written by great Acharyas on this set of Kalarippayattu. You can refer to such books. It can have you the details also. There are sutras and books and Marma point books also available.
Because you took the Ashtanga part of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the Ahimsa, There is no sage like Lord Agastya and Pashuram. There is nothing written by them in any way.
There are certain books based on the treatment modules, but on the defensive also it comes under Dhanurveda. So there the techniques are mentioned.
Ah, okay.
In
Yeah.
Atharvaveda.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a question. My name is Chitra Pandit, and you spoke about if someone confronts you with a gun, you can use your mind to defend yourself. So can you be trained on that separately, or does it have to be incorporated with the rest? And the reason
it has to be, see, it's a higher level of training, because once your body movements, your functions of the body, muscle movements, attains precision, and this brings in a certain firm principles of discipline in the individual, then the mind power is very acute and precise. So this is where the training intensifies, and that's how these things are taught. We call it as tuned Marma. Tuned Marma, even pointing at things, your power of your energy goes to eliminate the person's attention. It's on a higher level of training that is imbibed.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is Ravi calling from Houston. Sanjeev ji, thanks for an enlightening lecture. I was going to ask you a couple of questions and make a comment. The one question is, how do people with disabilities make use of this technique that you're, presenting?
Yeah. See, those who have disabilities, depends on what disability it is. If it is aches and pains in the body, or certain things that is not making them move around. So certain pressing of certain Marma points, using the techniques to streamline the circulation, open up the blockages in the Nadis, added with breathing techniques and movements, can help them to improve their flexibility, mobility also. So according to the person's requirement, this can be planned, designed, and executed for them to get the wellness set into their system.
I see.
To a great extent, we have to see individual basis.
Thank you. In this age of, information technology, ergonomics plays a key role, with the computer use and the eye strain and the low back strain. Is there any preventive exercises in the Marma techniques that is there that, the masses can use going forward?
Yes, of course. All that we have even in yogic practices, for example, sitting on a long time, there are certain spinal stretches which can help us to elevate such pains and even bring it back to health. So there are so many techniques which has been imbibed practice, and we have seen immense of results from all of them.
No, I'm talking in terms of preventive measures, not reactive measures.
Preventive measures is what we need to do is whenever you sit in a chair for a long time, there are certain postures. For just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you need to do stretches, standing and stretches, sitting in this chair and stretching also, there are techniques. Plus, it will be very good if you can do at least 10-15 minutes every day as a preventive measure to ensure the spine, because the basic foundation of our body is a spine. When we sit and stand and strain for a long time, stagnancy and stiffnesses adds on to our system. So this on a day-to-day basis, you can streamline and improve the circulation. Naturally, your spine will be strong. So this you at least spend half an hour in a day, which can really realign the spine of all its stiffness and stagnancy that we accumulate each day. There are certain very good practices for that.
Thank you. Now, one comment I was going to make is, I used to be in the US military, in the medical squadron, and by Geneva Convention, the people in the medical field can use the arms only for self-defense. And I thought that maybe, this might be another, approach that you can propose to the Geneva Convention people to use this to safeguard the medical professional, among others, who are the primary, caregivers in any situation.
It will be very good. We can even plan to have a module which can be imbibed to them and have them trained. So it keeps them healthy throughout all their practices or whatever they do engage into.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
By seeing a person, will you be able to figure out what is wrong with them? You know, just by seeing them.
By seeing them, it might be not that easy, because at the same time, if we touch them, we'll be able to know their nadis. By seeing them, we can understand them by their movements, by certain things. We can gauge to a great extent, but not thoroughly. You know, we may not be able to do that much unless the person communicates their problems also.
So through Nadi reading, you know, in general, how many diseases can you figure out?
In Nadi reading, we have to see, for example, we have any imbalances in the person. Nadis can help you to be eliminating all of them, because we have certain mediums and methodology to streamline the imbalances in the Nadis. So many things can be rectified unless it is not totally on by birth or anything. But if it has happened over a period of time, it can help to elevate it to a great extent.
So the Nadi reading is at 3 levels in, you know, like in Vata 3 level, Pitta 3 levels, or more than that?
See, Vata, Pitta, Kapha is just not just Nadis, you know, it's imbalance of elementary composition or proposition that can happen in a system. Nadis is the energy level, the nerve centers and meridian points, which gets imbalanced because of these elementary imbalances. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha is more on Ayurvedic treatments. We have been taught to eliminate them. And then Nadis can also support it to see that the streamlining of those imbalances are rectified.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a quick comment. Yeah, in this age of all video games and young children, younger generation wanting to play video games all the time, it would be a great idea to have something on this Kalari technique as a video game.
Yeah, maybe we can use such knowledge to instill better knowledge on the subject, where children will gain interest over it. So that is a good proposition. I think we can think about it, because this can encourage them on a much healthier angle rather than just observing other things.
Because they normally play with video games which are all kind of violent and guns and things like that. So just thought came. Thank you.
It was good. It's a good idea.
So I think we are running out of questions. So we also have only about 6 minutes time. So what we can do is we can conclude here, and we'll give you a little bit of a sense in terms of what the Council for Yoga Accreditation International has other programs coming up. All of these are free programs, and essentially the organizations that are involved with it, like Life in Yoga Institute is one of them. So our program, Relevance and Methods of Yoga Application for Emotional Wellness in the Current Pandemic, it's a continuing medical education course. However, attendance is free. Anybody is welcome to come and join. And on January 17th, we will have a talk on the history and development of electrophotonic imaging for Nadi assessment and application in yoga therapy. And then February 21st, we will have a discussion, a panel discussion on yoga practices versus yoga experience. A lot of people think that, learning techniques of yoga is equivalent of knowing yoga. That's not really at all. It is only the beginning. And through practice, the experience of yoga is something quite different from the practices you do for yoga. So this discussion we will have. And so all of you are welcome to stay tuned. And those of you who want to join our daily yoga class, It is a chair-based yoga that anyone can do. This is from 5:30 in the evening, East Coast time, as well as 8:30 in the evening, East Coast time, which is, of course, 5:30 for the West Coast. All of you are welcome. It's delightful to see Dr. Kiran Mangalam after a long time. So, you know, it'll be nice to see all of you come and join us whenever you can. Okay. So, Sanjeev ji, any last words?
The only thing is now we should see that how it can help people imbibe it in schools, education institutions, and see how we can take it forward. So I would like to thank all of you, Rajanji, and all the members who have attended today. It was wonderful, a platform for us to convey this message. And I thank all of you for participating and looking forward to more such programs also.
Somaji, are you there? You want to say something?
I'll just say good program. Enjoyed it a lot, and look forward to thinking about these aspects of practice.
Somaji, Dr. Stephen Parker is the chair of the Council for Yoga Accreditation International. He's the chief trainer for the Ahimsin, that is the Himalayan, tradition of yoga meditation. And so there he is joining us from Minnesota, from Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so see you all next time in any other program. There are so many of them going. So bye for now.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev ji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great session.
Thank you very much.